if anybody's been watching this channel for the last year now, you've heard my hot takes on Microsoft and the next generation of hardware. Uh, some of us have stated that perhaps Microsoft will turn completely third party. I said we get at least one more generation of Xbox consoles, and it seems like I was right. And also, I was right in the sense that it's going to be completely different than what you are used to. So, in the last couple of days, there's been some actual, really trustworthy sources that have leaked Microsoft's next gen approach to their new consoles. And it doesn't even seem like it's going to be a real console at all. So it sounds like this thing is actually going to be, and the rumors a couple of months ago were true, that it's going to be two things. There's actually two types of consoles that are going to be made. One is reminiscent of the Steam machine. It's essentially a low spec PC that is TV friendly, in a TV friendly shell. So let's go ahead and take a look here at this article. This is from gamingbible.com. And we're just going to read it, and then I'll all I can say is I told you so. But all the Xbox fanboys and everything in the comments, in the last couple of videos, they couldn't cope with what I was saying. So let's go ahead here and read up on it. So it starts off here by saying, according to one industry insider, Microsoft is planning to take the next Xbox in a significantly different direction. And it sounds like they'll be taking on some inspiration from Valve this time around. This news comes via Windows Central's Jess Corden, who revealed the info on the Xbox Two podcast last week. I mean, the whole idea of the next Xbox is that it's going to be a PC in essence with a TV friendly shell that also has a specific set of specs in mind. So developers will be building for Windows PC in a way, but in such a way that they know exactly what the specs will be, Corden revealed to the Xbox 2 podcast. So maybe the Call of Duty rumor could be right, but if it is, the dev kit talk is more about what kind of specs that they've been told to target for the next Xbox, not about having any dev kit. But I'm pretty sure new hardware is not 2026, it's 2027. So they're saying that this Steam machine type Xbox will be in 2027. It'll have a set specs, set out for developers, and basically it's just a PC crammed in a TV friendly shell, which you could pretty much do right now. If you have a PC, I promise you can pick it up, go take it in front of your television, and plug the HDMI in it, and it will work. And you can then run the same games on Steam or Game Pass, or hell, you'll even have those Sony exclusives now, right? That used to be on only on PS5. Now, this is one smart way of getting around Sony having exclusives, because if this thing is a PC in essence, right? If it's just a PC in essence and it's running Windows OS and it has Steam on there and it runs Xbox games and Xbox Game Pass, then technically with Steam you get those Sony first party games, even if they are delayed 6 months to a year or however long it takes Sony to publish them on Steam. You are now eliminating Sony's I have exclusives thing with this type of an Xbox. So it really does even the playing field in that regard. My problem with it is that it's also an in between system. It's not for your dedicated platform console fanboys. It kind of is for your Xbox fanboys, but for people who prefer consoles, this doesn't sound like it's that. And for people who prefer PCs because they can just do everything, it doesn't sound like it's that either. So they're trying to carve their. I guess they're trying to do a Nintendo like thing where they're carving their own path. The problem is they're doing it from you know way back in never having won a single console war. So it's almost like they want to be in half out. They don't know exactly what to do. So I'm a little skeptical for now. We'll see in a couple of years, won't we? Now, the article continues here. Now, obviously, Corden isn't revealing his sources here, but the news is a bit on the vague side. Arguably, every console is a PC in essence. That's just in its own unique, very specific operating system. But reading between the lines, it makes it sound like Valve's discontinued Steam Machine. Steam Machines were essentially consoles that offered players the same freedom that a PC does. While a Steam Machine came packaged with its own specific operating system, Steam OS, there was nothing stopping you from replacing it with a different one, like, for instance, Windows or Linux, and treating the device like a portable PC. It's too early to say whether or not that's what Microsoft intends to do with this new Xbox, but I'm not entirely sure what else Corden could have meant if not. Guess we'll have to wait until 2027 to find out for sure. Now, this Xbox, I said we're probably going to be sold some kind of a weird box that streams Game Pass and it connects to your TV, and this weird box will be labeled an Xbox, and so then Microsoft can say, "See, we have dedicated hardware." And that's exactly what this sounds like. It's exactly a weird box that's branded an Xbox, but it's not quite a traditional console. I mean, when I tell you I told you so. I freaking told you so. It's exactly a weird version. It's not a traditional, Xbox, and that's what we're going to be sold going forward. And that's it. Now, the second rumor that was had in the industry was that Microsoft is working on a handheld. Now, this handheld rumor is in two parts. It's two phases. It's almost like Microsoft wants to be the next Sega went during the Genesis era and just flood the market with multiple hardwares with the Sega brand name on it and just kill your own business. But I guess they're gonna see if the Microsoft brand is stronger than Sega's brand in the 90s, because they're working on two types of portable consoles. One of them is going to be basically an Asus ROG Ally, uh, reskinned, rebranded with Xbox branding, and in fact, it's going to be made by Asus. So it's probably gonna have a little bit different skin on it, a little bit different specs, tweaking things that are gonna be made specifically for Microsoft. But it's essentially an Asus ROG Ally, that runs Xbox dedicated platform stuff. So maybe it'll have dedicated baked in Windows OS or Windows Gaming, as well as baked in Xbox Game Pass or Xbox Live features. So those things will be baked into the operating systems, perhaps, but essentially it's an Asus ROG Ally. So yeah, the rumor of third parties making Xboxes, that sounds like it's a real thing. So again, something that we broke on this channel and we saw spread across the web, and it turns out that this is true, and it looks like more and more sources confirming that. And yeah, so here's the article from PC World about Microsoft's Xbox handheld leaks. And that actually could be coming out this year. So let's take a look at that, and then you guys will, tell me what you think. It says Microsoft's Xbox handheld leaks, and it could be coming this year. Microsoft understands that if you want something right, you have to do it yourself. So already coming at this as if, this is going to be a good thing. I we'll see what the tone of this article is. In 2024, Microsoft's gaming chief Phil Spencer said that he wanted a handheld gaming PC to feel more like an Xbox, but as the saying goes, if you want something done right, you have to do it yourself. Thus, Microsoft is reportedly working on its own handheld Xbox PC console. The console, codenamed Keenan, is apparently so far along in Windows development that it may debut in 2025, according to Windows Central. Details are still scarce, and what would be inside it. What is apparent, however, is that it will give the new handheld a decidedly Xbox look and feel, something that Spencer made a point of last year. Excuse me. However, Spencer also previously indicated that an Xbox handheld is apparently a few years away, according to November 2024 interview, and that Microsoft was just in prototype stage. Wrong? Remember, Xbox encompasses Microsoft's gaming aspirations on both the console and PC. Windows Central reports that the new handheld should run Windows, surprise, and the Xbox gaming app for Windows serves as a gateway to cloud gaming on the PC. So there you go. They are now going to be serving us hybrid systems with Windows OS on it and merging Xbox gaming app and Xbox Game Pass baked in. Some people already say that there are too many handheld game consoles out there, with Valve Steam Deck dominating the competition. And by dominating, they mean they sold 3 million while the others haven't. Who's really dominating the hybrid console war out there? It's Nintendo. They've got 150 million of those things out there. But we've already seen traditional PC makers like Asus jump in, eager to seize upon any new way to expand market share. Right now, there's plenty of room. As of February, just 6 million handheld PCs have been sold to date, with an estimated 1.9 million handhelds to go out the door this year. So now that's among all PC handhelds, around 6 million. That's way off the 273 million PCs expected to be sold this year alone, according to IDC, indicating either a young market or one no one really cares about. We'll see. This is from PC World, so they believe that there's a market for this. Oh, there's a market for it. It's for the niche person who has money to spend, who has a portable PC that they take a case in and they take it to the airport in, and then they have their laptop, which could, also game on, and then they pack in a nice little 19-inch OLED screen that they take with them. That's the market that will also think, I think I need a PC handheld for the plane ride in between. To date, Microsoft has built its own PCs under the Surface brand, but the handheld won't be in that line. Windows Central's report that Microsoft will be teaming up with another PC maker to manufacture these handheld Xbox consoles. Sometimes a PC maker will use a white box PC maker like uh, Compal. I don't know if it's Compal or Compal for design and assembly, slapping its own name on the finished product. That doesn't seem to be the case here. It's unclear how seriously Microsoft takes the concept of handheld PCs, but consider how Microsoft arguably botched the entire mobile smartphone category, from killing off Windows Phone to a failing dual screen smartphone. Today, it survives with a number of mobile apps. A handheld could be a backdoor into that space again. Windows Central reports that this new handheld has the blessing of Satya Nadella himself. So that's a good sign that it's not a Surface Xbox handheld will eventually surface. We've been arguing for years that Microsoft should build an Xbox gaming laptop. Maybe we're finally getting one for the palm of your hands. Again, PC World seems to have a very good, bright take on this. I don't see it. I don't see it, especially when you talk about all the PC handhelds that are out there right now, all the manufacturers that make one, and across all of them, there's only 6.9 million sold only in the planet. That's nothing, man. That's less than the Wii U sold, guys. And that was considered a flop. This Wii U sold what, 13 million consoles, something like that, and that was considered a flop. So, yeah, put that into perspective. And then lastly is that Microsoft, for some reason, even though they're doing this thing, is still working on their own version of their own Xbox handheld that will come the year after. Now, this Asus ROG Ally handheld is supposed to be released sometime in 2025. This ROG Ally Xbox, handheld, and it's gonna be hella expensive. So if they're trying to carve a niche like that handheld PC market is not big. You're gonna sell maybe 2 million, maybe 3 million. Like those Steam Deck numbers came out, they weren't anywhere what people thought. People were expecting 20 million in sales, and it was like, oh, they've broke around 3 million console that Steam Deck sold. It's like that's not groundbreaking. That's not gonna be something that Microsoft is gonna be turning a huge profit on. So and then on top of that, the market confusion of having two products out, both PC handhelds, both with Xbox branding. It's like, what are you doing? So now, let's say that all of this stuff is true. Let's say that in 2026 or 2027, we get this next PC Essence Xbox for your TV experience, right? So in 2026, potentially next year or the year after, they will have on the market at the same time an Xbox Series S, the Series X, the next gen Xbox PC Essence, the Asus ROG Ally uh, Xbox branded portable handheld, and then the official Xbox Microsoft portable handheld. So you got 5 different SKUs, all Xbox branding. Now, if they think that's going to have people look at it and go, "Oh, do you rather have this Xbox or that Xbox versus PlayStation and Nintendo?" This sounds good in theory, but you got to remember, again, Sega tried this in the 90s. They had the Sega Genesis, they had the Sega CD, they had the Sega 32X, all at the same time. They had the Sega Game Gear and the Sega Nomad, all at the same time. And all it did was cause consumers to go, screw that. Every year, they're releasing something new with the Xbox brand. It devalues it. This isn't the same as Apple. They're not the same as Nintendo. And Nintendo releases a console once every 5, and this is the longest they've gone, 5 to 8 years. Between consoles and even handhelds, they take a long time. And even Sony, even when they do their mid-spec refresh, it's not that often. Like we did see the PS5 digital come out last year and the PS5 Pro this year, which of course cannibalized the sales of the digital, which sells nothing now. And the Pro isn't even selling that hot from the last video if you guys haven't watched it. Anyway, Microsoft, you are confusing your audience. You've got your dedicated fanboys. They're probably gonna go out there and scoop this stuff up. There'll be a lot of YouTubers that will review it, of course, because they have to. I will not be one of them. I will not go out and spend $600 or $500 on an Asus ROG Ally skinned Xbox, handheld, when I know that the rumor is that next year after that we're gonna get an officially branded one, and who knows what that'll be. Um, Anyway, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong again, guys. I mean, you guys in the comments last time just ate me up for being incredibly wrong about Microsoft and incredibly wrong about Xbox. And of course, you didn't like what Phil Spencer himself had to say. I mean, Phil Spencer himself told you we are no longer going to be chasing the console war. Satya Nadella, the president, a CEO of Microsoft, said we are going to change what it means to be an Xbox fan. And you're all, no, 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 that's never going to happen. Well, guess what? Everything is happening exactly as I've predicted. And it's just going to keep going that way. So maybe I'm wrong. And I would hope for you guys to tell me in the comments how I'm wrong. And in 3 or 4 years, when, you know, the sales numbers come out and we see where we are, and if I'm wrong, I'll take, I'll admit I'm wrong. But will all of you admit that you're wrong? I don't think so. Anyway, as always, I want to thank you guys for joining us here on the channel. Keep an eye out. We will be rebooting the podcast soon with a new format. We're trying to find something that works for everybody out there. As always, my name's Anthony. I'd like to thank you guys for checking us out, and we'll catch you in the next video.